My name is Bruce Vogt. I was in the U.S. Navy for 4 years.
I was in the United States Army.
I was in the military for 4 years, U.S. Navy.
I am in the Air National Guard.
I was a mine dog handler in Vietnam.
And I am a supply technician.
I joined the military just a sense of service. I really love the country and I wanted to do something to serve, do my part.
I never really figured I would buy a house.
I am the first person in my family to actually be a homeowner.
We got married, we decided, it's time to get a house, want to have a family.
I thought, well, I'll see if I can get a VA loan.
And the economy went down and essentially my income got cut by almost about 50%.
I was disabled from my previous job and it wasn't enough to make the payments on the home.
I ended up losing my job because the company I worked for closed their doors.
My husband at the time lost his job, so it was me and trying to take care of my personal bills, his personal bills, and our joint bills, which included this home.
I'm getting ready to lose my truck, I'm getting ready to lose my house, and I was devastated, and I nearly did lose both of them, actually.
And I exhausted all my savings and everything trying to keep the house up.
And everything was crumbling down around us, and I had no idea what to do.
At one point, I was directed to the VA in Houston, and I made that golden phone call.
I had that feeling, like that inner gut feeling, like this is someone that's actually going to go help me. This is someone that is going to go to bat for me. She
was an actual person, and it felt like she was listening to what I was saying.
We were on the phone, and I talked, and she listened.
It was really, really cool because I actually felt like the VA was trying to help me keep my home.
She was actually here to help.
And she knew what I was going through, and she helped me to realize and to understand, you're not the only one.
The VA is here to help veterans.
Every step of the way, she was either calling me or emailing me so that I wasn't in the dark.
She was a phone call away, which made the world a difference.
Being a veteran myself, I have a very special spot in my heart for the veterans, and that's who I want to help.
If I had never called the VA, I would have lost my home.
There is no way that we can do enough for those who served our country, gave us this freedom. This is just a small amount of what we can do to pay them back for what they gave to us.
If a veteran does have questions regarding what they can do with their account, whether they're behind on payments, or simply would like to know what their options are should they fall behind, we do encourage veterans to call the VA. We are here to serve veterans.
The VA really, at this point, it really changed my financial outlook for the next 10 years.
The VA gave me my joy back. They gave me my sense of pride back.
I have a home again.
Monty Slough is one of many veterans who took advantage of the VA Home Loan Program to buy his very first house.
I've never owned a house before, and I'm 59 years old. I never really figured I would buy a house, but this house came available, and I thought I'll see if I can get a VA loan.
Although Monty is on a fixed income, he was able to pay his monthly mortgage using Social Security benefits. But one day, the checks stopped coming.
The Social Security people felt that they had made a mistake on paying me, and they stopped my payments for 3 months. It turned out they were wrong, but during that time, all I had coming in was just my disability payment from the VA, and it wasn't enough to cover all my bills.
Monty's mortgage loan fell into default.
At one point, I was directed to the VA in Houston, and I made that golden phone call.
When a veteran calls in and we ask them specific questions, do you want to retain home ownership? The answer is yes, so our job then is to specifically evaluate their financial ability to make payments. Can they make payments? Yes, they can make payments. Do they fit into a forbearance plan? Do they fit into a repayment plan? Do they fit into a loan modification? We're going to take their finances and fit them into their plan. The next thing we want to do is make sure that a veteran understands the plan.
We started off with the repayment plan because I understood that a lot better.
A repayment plan is when a borrower would make up a delinquent amount over a period of time, typically anywhere from 3 to 6 months. They have extended up to 12 or 24. It's a formal arrangement where the borrower can repay over a short period of time.
Monty worked with VA and his bank to get the repayment plan put into place.
VA technicians are extensively trained. When they talk to the veteran, they can get the problem firsthand. Then they can discuss this issue, come up with a resolution, and then the loan technician really goes to work. They have, through years of experience, direct contact to loss mitigation specialists at the mortgage companies that veterans don't have access to. They know who to call, they know what to say, they know how to propose a plan that benefits everyone.
It's really, really cool because I actually felt like the VA was trying to help me keep my home. If it wasn't for the office in Houston, I probably would have lost my house. I really doubt that I would have been able to keep it.
When I'm able to set a repayment plan and the delinquent borrower was able to reinstate or bring that loan current or even pay it in full, then that gives me great satisfaction to provide them with that, with the assistance. So that's one great thing I like about what I do.
If this happened to me again, I would know what to do, and I would jump right on it. And I would make that magic phone call. So I owe that office a lot, I'd say. And I'm sure they've helped a lot of veterans.
Any veteran, whether or not he or she has a VA loan, can contact the VA. They can call one of our VA loan technicians, and they will be happy to advise them on their options.
I've been able to save something, and I feel like, sometimes life's worth living. And this doesn't seem that important, but it is to me. I have a home again.
Leanne Smart has always been a role model for her family.
I am the first person in my family to actually be a homeowner. So this is like major for me. First person in my family to be a homeowner. First person in my family to have a college degree. So a lot of firsts for me.
She joined the Air National Guard to help pay her way through college and used a VA loan to purchase her first home.
Applied for the loan, was approved, found a realtor, went home shopping, looked at probably 10 houses and loved this one, and that was that. Put in an offer, they accepted it, and it was one of the greatest days of my life.
Unfortunately, after a few years, being first caught up with her.
Marriage, divorce, change in job, kind of the hours changed. Then my husband at the time lost his job. It caught up, because your life changes, your circumstances change, but the bills don't stop coming. And everything was crumbling down around us, and I had no idea what to do.
Leanne reached out to her mortgage servicer, but didn't find the solution she needed.
The banks are very intimidating. You tell them your situation, and you're asking for a little empathy, a little understanding, just help. Tell me what it is that I need to do to rectify the situation. And they're very cold. Everyone wanted you to file bankruptcy, and that's not what I wanted to do. So what do? You keep researching, you keep fighting, you keep trying to figure it out. And I wasn't faulting anyone but myself, because my life is what happened that got me in the situation that I was in. I was just simply trying to find someone to help put me back on the right track.
Fortunately, VA was there to help. Leanne called the VA hotline and was put in touch with a loan specialist.
I just need someone to listen to me, and that is what she did. We were on the phone, and I talked, and she listened. and she told me she would do everything in her power to help me, and that is exactly what she did.
When a veteran calls me, I ask them what the reason for default is. Once we obtain that, we ask them, what is your intentions for the property? Do you want to keep it? Do you want to sell it? What do you want to do with your property? I'd say about 8 out of 10 veterans want to keep their property. They just don't know how to go about it.
She's very honest and very detailed in every correspondence that we share with one another. And she empathized. She didn't pity. She understood, and she knew what I was going through, and she helped me to realize and to understand, you're not the only one, but you're wanting to do something about it, and you are doing what's right. Every step of the way, she was either calling me or emailing me so that I wasn't in the dark.
Leanne and her loan specialist decided that a special forbearance would be the best option.
A special forbearance is basically, it's just where you and the mortgage company agree to not submitting payments for a period of time, and not initiate the foreclosure process. It's used when you would have a break in your income or you're temporarily unemployed.
My hours were decreased at work, and my pay, I had a drop in pay, a significant drop in pay actually, but I knew that it will only be about 8 months, and then my pay will go back to where it was initially.
And then at the end of that special forbearance period, you either make an arrangement to repay that unpaid balance via repayment plan modification, whatever it may be.
Leanne used a special forbearance followed by a loan modification to bring her account current.
Once we redid the financial records, they just gave me a new mortgage rate. Essentially what they said was, we will take the back mortgage and we're going to just, you still owe that. Don't think it's going away. But we're just going to basically start the loan over. And so they took the money that I owed and they just added it to the mortgage. So the mortgage is, I owe more than I initially started out with because of the payments missed.
With VA's help, Leanne was able to avoid foreclosure and get her life back on track.
The VA gave me my joy back. They gave me my sense of pride back. I'm blessed, and I'm really excited that I was able to keep the home, that the VA helped me to keep my home, keep my dream, essentially is what it is. It's more than a home to me. And right now, what I see in my future, sky is the limit. I'm getting ready to go to grad school, and I love my home. And about 3 years from now, 3 or 4 years from now, I'll be married with kids, hopefully, and I'll finish my military career. Because of that VA rep is why I'm sitting here in my home, and I'm extremely joyful today.
Each year, veterans across the country buy homes using VA loans. Unfortunately, each year, there are also veterans who fall behind on payments and may face foreclosure on those homes.
We're having a lot of issues with borrowers facing foreclosure today because of the recent market.
I got disabled from my job, and the income that I had wasn't enough to make the payments, and I couldn't find a job. And I exhausted all my savings and everything trying to keep the house up. Thought I was going to lose it. It was devastating, I didn't know which way to turn or what to do, And at times I felt like giving up.
Fortunately, VA's regional loan centers are here to help.
Our program is a benefit program. We are here to help our delinquent veterans and homeowners keep their homes and avoid foreclosure and provide a roof over their family.
Roger didn't know where to turn or who to talk to.
And then it came to him that, I'm a veteran and I should use my resources. And I told him yes. And he called them.
And I got in touch with the VA.
And from that point on, he was continually hearing from them. Whenever he called, they'd call back. It was very good communication. It was very positive.
If a veteran does have questions regarding what they can do with their account, whether they're behind on payments, or simply would like to know what their options are should they fall behind, we do encourage veterans to call the VA. We are here to serve veterans.
I had talked with the VA rep, and we were coming up with different options that I had, and the VA was able to step in with the bank and make a difference.
And it's just a wonderful feeling that you can reach out for the help, and it's there.
VA has one representative that the veteran can contact, so they don't have to go through the channels.
The VA was able to do the footwork for him, and they came through for him. And as you know, with a little faith, everything just fell into place.
They did give me hope. I knew I had them on my side then because I couldn't do it by myself.
Roger and his VA loan technician decided to work out a loan modification.
The most common workout option that right now is being worked is a loan modification.
A loan modification is generally considered when you do not have the funds to afford a repayment plan, but you do still have the income available to make regular mortgage payments on your property. Basically, they're just changing the terms of your original loan to make your payment affordable now.
I got a lower interest rate and a good payment, you know, that I could live with the rest of my life, you know, and everything's going smooth. I couldn't be much pleased with it. And a lot of pressure off him, and I'm at peace.
The key here is that you can retain the property. You can afford to make payments.
Roger is just one of thousands of veterans and service members VA has helped over the years.
The Department of Veterans Affairs, they help everybody. No matter if you've assumed the loan from another veteran, we can help. If you're the widow or widower of the veteran whose eligibility was used for the home, we can help you. We can help service members who are still active duty. We can help if you've obtained the property through divorce and your name is now on the loan, we can help you out because it's a VA loan.
The benefits go with the loan. So if they have difficulties with their loan or they have questions in general, they can call VA, and VA will do our best to support them in any way that we can.
I served my country, and I feel like the VA stepped in and made a difference for me, and that was an honor to me.
That, you know, made a difference with him by us being married to be able to save our home, you know, and we were very pleased about that because, you know, it's a beautiful home, place for us to enjoy ourselves and retire, and for the grandkids to come and have a backyard at Grandma and Grandpa's house.
And we're just overly satisfied now.
My name is Bruce Vogt. I was in the U.S. Navy for 4 years.
Bruce and I met when I was in nursing school, and we dated and we got engaged the weekend after I graduated from nursing school.
We got married. We decided, you know, it's time to get a house, want to have a family.
I first met Bruce and Jill in 2006. I had this property listed for sale. They were brought here by another agent, and Bruce and Jill bought the home.
We walked in and I saw the wood beams and just the coziness of it, and it's like, okay, this is it.
And we moved in and everything was great.
And then we had a son.
Then with the economy and through circumstances beyond their control, they got in a financial situation where they were not going to be able to continue to make the payments.
I ended up losing my job because the company I worked for closed their doors. I drained my 401 to try and stay current.
Bruce finally found a new job, but it was too little, too late.
I was making not even half of what I was before, so we still weren't making ends meet. And all along, you know, we're falling further and further behind on our mortgage.
The house probably wasn't going to be able to be something we were going to be able to keep.
The Votes decided to put their home up for sale.
So I came down and did a market analysis with homes in the area. The values had dropped since they purchased their home.
At that point, the economy was very bad, you know, in our town, and houses that were up for sale just weren't selling.
The house was listed for months without any offers.
You know, they started the foreclosure process with us. We struggled, and then finally one day out of the blue, the VA actually called us. Kathy Shanklin was our VA rep, and she says, you know, I'm here to help. Kathy went over the different options available to us, and, you know, obviously was selling the house and a short sale that was available.
If your intention is not to keep your property because you cannot find work in your area, or you just feel so overwhelmed with the default that's on the property, There are other options. You can get a compromise sale where you try and sell the property for the market value of the property, or you could do a deed in lieu.
She acted like she was listening to what I was saying, and she acted like she wanted to help. And obviously in the end, she helped immensely.
VA's goal is to ensure that every veteran borrower has access to every opportunity to either retain their home or pursue alternatives to foreclosure.
After months, the Votes finally received an offer on their home.
It is a very long process. Sometimes it takes anywhere from 90 days to sometimes 120 days for everything to go through for the servicer to be able to approve a short sale.
She was instrumental because nobody from our point of view or perspective was able to communicate with the bank. Not the lawyers, not the realtors, not even us.
I would contact the lender and just keep going up the chain of command at the servicer.
The VA difference, I guess we would say, is that they're experienced technicians. They know all the options. They know how to work. They've been working with servicers for years and years. They're great facilitators in the process because they're aware of everything. They know how to speak the lingo, if you will, to get things worked out with the servicer. And they do have relationships going on with the people working at the servicing companies.
You know, we've done everything we could do on our end, and it took the VA to be able to get it done. And then actually the house just sold yesterday.
You know, I could have had 3 realtors and 5 lawyers and no Kathy, and that wouldn't have gone anywhere. But, you know, Kathy actually was the one that sold it.
Because the Votes purchased their house using a VA loan, VA picked up the difference between the sale price and the amount still owed on the property.
So with the Vote situation, they owed at least $11,000 more, plus fees and costs, that the VA will cover with a servicer using the guarantee amount of the original loan.
If the VA was not there and Kathy hadn't pushed and prodded, the house would have gone into foreclosure.
If we had to foreclose on the house, we most likely would have had to claim bankruptcy.
The VA really, at this point, you know, it really changed my financial outlook for the next 10 years.
It's your credit, it's your personal life, and you have to have people behind you that are going to help you. You just stick to your guns and you just do what you have to do because it's your family and you have to protect them.
Bruce has since found a new job working for the Department of Homeland Security.
We're able to just move forward and move on with our lives and just try and make another step and hopefully get back to that, you know, American dream with owning a house and having a backyard for the boy to play in.
Meet Robert Kilmartin, loving father of 4, a captain in the U.S. Army, and like many others across the country, he was affected by the recession.
When I had gotten off of active duty, I went and I got a job. I had made this income now for 5 or 6 years. We had money saved up. We were doing pretty well. When I first bought the house, my wife and I would talk like, hey, you know, our kids are going to grow up here. And we weren't really buying out of our means. And then all of a sudden, things kind of went downhill. Essentially, my income got cut by almost about 50%. You know, the American ideal is, hey, we're gonna bounce back. It's just a little rough patch. The houses are foreclosing at a rapid rate in our entire neighborhood. My wife and I just talked about it, and I kind of bit the bullet and said, hey, we can't make this payment anymore. We can't keep using credit cards to make our house payment. You know, this is crazy.
Robert found he could no longer afford to keep his home, but he didn't want the property to go to foreclosure.
I called the VA and they transferred me right away, and she allowed me an opportunity to kind of tell the story at first, which I thought was good. She went over short sale and I was like, well, it's just not going to work, so don't even bother. But she was like, well, give me a minute and let me explain to you what it is just in case. She wanted to really make sure that I had it, and she had explained how it worked.
If a veteran cannot afford payments for their home, then we want to make them aware of other alternatives that they do have. We have 2 other options, which would be a compromise sale and what's called a deed in lieu.
A deed in lieu of foreclosure is basically a situation in which you know you cannot retain the property, you don't have funds to bring the account current, and you can't sell the home for whatever reason. It's the last possible alternative you can pursue, basically just signing the property back over to the mortgage company rather than forcing them to go through the foreclosure process.
She was going to go ahead and call the bank, and she was going to work hard to get them to accept this deed in lieu, which it's not a foreclosure because it's a deed in lieu of foreclosure.
Every veteran borrower or homeowner is provided the opportunity to retain their homes or avoid foreclosure.
I had that feeling, like that inner gut feeling, like this is someone that's actually going to go help me. This is someone that is going to go to bat for me.
The VA is here to help veterans. If a veteran does fall behind on payments or just simply has questions regarding what they can do with their account, whether they're behind on payments, or simply would like to know what their options are should they fall behind, we do encourage veterans to call the VA. We are here to serve veterans.
I felt like I was her only client, was the feeling I got from it, which was a great feeling because it's a stressful situation.
With VA's help, Robert was able to avoid foreclosure by signing his home over to the servicer.
This kind of gave me a sense of pride knowing that, okay, I did the right thing in my eyes. Of I can't pay for it, I did the best I could, and I felt like I was going out the right way.
There is no way that we can do enough for those who served our country, gave us this freedom. This is just a small amount of what we can do to pay them back for what they gave to us.
I like working at the Veterans Administration because I'm helping veterans. I'm helping people who deserve all the help that they can get when they are in a situation beyond their control. Being a veteran myself, I have a very special spot in my heart for the veterans, and that's who I want to help.
Since the deed in lieu occurred, it's been great. It's a huge stressor off my shoulders. And I never thought, for all the years I've been working and I've always paid bills, I never thought I'd be that guy. And it's unfortunate, but it's happened to a lot of people. And it was good knowing that I had someone like Jody to help me through the process. And I got to tell you, I feel great looking into the future.